What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are live, and we're live from Florida. So it's a little bit different. I hope you all can hear me okay, along with the neighbor's dog and the sprinkler system. That's that noise in the background. And I hope the internet's good enough to keep up here. So if we run into some problems, well, what? Nothing new, right? Anyhow, first and foremost, I want to apologize for last week. And I know the lighting's not the best here, but hey, I brought what I could, and it's better than nothing, right? Anyhow, last week, as I was about to go on, we had a power outage. We had a heavy-duty windstorm, like 50-mile-an-hour gusts, and a live line went down across the road, I don't know, a couple blocks down, and knocked out the power. I was hoping it would come on in time, but we didn't get power till like 2 a.m. So that's what happened last week. It wasn't me blowing you guys off. It was just act of God, I guess. So anyhow, boy, a lot has happened in 2 weeks. I hope you guys noticed the thumbnail. Pretty cool thumbnail. We're going to have a video coming up on that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yeah, ATF cut my power. Yeah, could be. Never know. But I did see a picture of it on our local Facebook group or something. And then I drove down that road later, and sure enough, the trucks were all down there and everything. But it was out long enough that it was starting to get pretty cold in the house. Now I'm here sweating. I just got out of the shower, and I'm sweating already. It's about 80 degrees down here. Palm trees, all that good stuff, but just doing some hurricane repairs, I guess you could say. Anyhow, let's see who's in here. I figured we'd be a little late tonight, considering different time and all. And it's weird because my phone and all adjusted to the time frame or the time zone, but my computer did not. So it's actually 9:30 where I'm at. And I know that's late for you East Coast guys and Michigan guys, but just had some stuff I was finishing up and had to get to it. But let's get into things, see what you guys are talking about, what's going on, what I missed last week, and then we'll get into some stuff on current events the last couple weeks. So looks like Joe made it in first. Good to see you too, Joe. He says the king of Kalash. I don't know. We'll see. How'd you guys like that video? It was just a little brief intro on the Zastava Black Arrow. Funny, we stopped by Krebs, and I hadn't been there in ages. So it wasn't like, hey, let's run in and start shooting videos and all that stuff. It was, hey, let's kick back and talk a little bit and shoot the breeze about what we've all been doing, and just, reacquainting each other and talking about what we've all been doing and that kind of thing. And then we went and had a couple beers and a pizza, and Breezy had to go, so it was me and Mark sitting at the bar and just talking about just everything going on down there in Illinois with the assault weapon ban, and kind of his plans and his thoughts on it all. And it was kind of interesting, his view on it. And we just had a good time. So we arranged that I'll get back down there next couple weeks. And I told him I want to focus on his core rifle, because with prices the way they are, I think that thing's just a steal. But he wants to really go on accessories, and you guys are familiar with some of them, like the safety. Of course, everybody's had a Krebs safety at one point or another. If you don't have one, you should. But he's got hand guards and stock adapters and all kinds of stuff. And Breezy brought his personal rifle, his ZPAP, and I had seen it when he had decked it out and all, but never held it, never anything. And I thought, oh, great, another ZPAP with some stuff on it. And when I picked up that rifle, it just felt so right, from the handguard to the stock to the grip. But one thing that was on it that I knew he had it, but I had never looked through it, was that peep sight. My God, that thing is as fast as a red dot. Incredible. You guys should get one and try it on one rifle. Put it on. If you don't like it, take it off. Put it on a forum, sell it somewhere, whatever. But those things are incredible. I'm definitely going to incorporate them into a bunch of them. And I'm going to do a review on it. And I'd like to do some drills with a shot timer with a red dot versus that. And I'll bet you it's damn close. It's so clear, and it's almost like the sight difference is made for it. It's incredible. Now, I know he adjusted the aperture, I'm sure, so it's perfect for it, but it's incredible. I've never seen such a tiny change make such a big difference. So I was excited to see that. That rifle felt so good. The IMS, 4-prong flash hider. Going to get into all of that. And I got a feeling when you guys see this stuff, you'll be picking a rifle to deck it all out. It's perfect. You can go head to toe Krebs, and it's no more, no less than any other stuff out there. And the quality is incredible. And I like to do it. So we shall see. Let's see who else is in here. Good deal. I can work in an episode of Vikings Valhalla. Chase Kelly's here. Hattori, of course. Joe Mercado, Jeremy 82. Good to see you, man. MZ is in the house. Who else? Dong. Joe says dong. Dongs are expensive these days. I got one expensive dong. For those of you that are new to the AK platform, we are not referring to our manhood. We are referring to a forward grip, a wood handguard with a forward grip on it that's shaped a little banana-like, and it's commonly referred to as a dong. Back in the day, you couldn't give them away, and today they're worth their weight in gold. 5x4, 5x39. That reminds me, guys, right down there is the super chat. There's a little $sign where you enter a chat. You can click that and give us a super chat, help out the channel. As you know, most videos get demonetized. They're actually demonetizing some of these streams now. I had one reviewed recently, and under human review, no good. They zapped it. I must have got a little spicy that evening. But I got a feeling we're going to get a little spicy here tonight. I got some good stuff for you guys. Some new stuff you probably haven't heard of that's coming down the pipe. This shit is scary, let me tell you. God, it's hot out here, guys. I'm pouring sweat. I need to get back up north. Crisp, cool, 0 or nice -5 maybe. That's where I thrive. This crap over 75, you can forget it. Who else is here? Well, Hattori said ATF cut my power. Could be. I bought my first dong and Bakelite. Don't get into that. Man, you can go down that Bakelite rabbit hole. You can get, all the Cyrillic markings and the stamps and mold numbers, and guys get all whacked out on that stuff. and they'll be missing a mold number 22 or something. And it's not that it may not be rare, it's just maybe that area of the country, who knows, just didn't get any, and they'll pay ridiculous money for it. There goes the sprinklers. Did it get quiet now? That background noise was annoying. Let's see. I should show you guys this view. It's quite incredible. Yeah, right over here is the pool. And then I got about a 3/4 of a mile view down the canal here. And fish jumping and boats and all that good stuff. It is beautiful. It's just too goddamn hot. I'll flip the camera around in a little bit and we'll see if we can get a shot. Just to tease some of you other northern boys and gals. Yeah, I recently got some Bakelites. Love them. They clean up well with some polish. DB Cooper, I'm here, I say. Good to have you, man. So I think I did a video, or I included it in my refinishing videos, how to do Bakelite, and there's an art to it. On the real rough stuff, a lot of guys will simply, spray it, give it a clear coat. And there's some that are better at it than others. There's some guys selling stuff out there that's just gorgeous. They'll get like a Bulgarian handguard and a Polish fat grip, which the Polish fat Bakelite grips color-wise match really well to the Bulgarian handguards. And unfortunately, even the best Bulgarian Bakelite handguards can be on the rough side. And then there's some really rough ones. Like I've gotten some that are like bark on an oak tree. I'm not kidding you. And you can try to sand down, but you quickly realize that even that slight difference in level, and I'm talking like bark, like different levels, right? You start sanding down, that thing gets thin real quick. So guys will coat them. I could probably figure out a way to fill those, to level everything off with some type of clear epoxy, something like that, and then clear coat them. And guys do that. There's is it Kalash Bakes or somebody? I always see pictures of him on Instagram, on the AK files. He's got beautiful stuff. And when you see it that nice, that shiny, that's for the most part redos. And I'm not saying they're bad. They're gorgeous, but they can take literal junk and make it look gorgeous. There is a way, and the guy that came up with the process was originally on AK files. And he had a certain type of, I believe it was like a skin oil that women used. And it had no petroleum in it. I want to say like mineral oil or I don't even remember. But he would literally spray the stuff down, let it soak overnight, hand rub it in for like 3 days, let it soak it all up, and then a polishing routine, and the stuff came out really beautiful. A lot of it's an early form of plastic, and it dries out. It loses all its properties that it had at one point. And they use fillers in it. Everything from wood to string to wood chips, you name it, is in there. And that's what gives it some of the cool patterns, right? Well, when the plastic part of it, the actual Bakelite, and there's a chemical name, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Someone will know it here. Unlike modern plastics, it loses all those elastomers and all the other stuff they put in it. They didn't have anything to protect against UV back then and all that. And it loses all those properties and dries out super bad. So when you rejuvenate it, and I've tried everything from mineral oil to 3-in-1, all kinds of stuff. And it all seems to work pretty much the same. The longer you soak it, the better. And then you literally hand rub it. I'd sit in front of the TV with a rag and just my fingers and just push that oil into it, and then polish the hell out of it. I've done it with a power buffer. I've done it by hand. You just work it, and it brings back a shine. Some of it, however, will look really good before you do anything to it because it's dried out. When you re-oil, it gets much darker, and you lose a lot of that color differentiation. And they, in my opinion, just don't look as good because they're darker. It's like taking nice leather and putting a lot of oil on it, how it gets dark and all of a sudden it's a different color, and you go, that doesn't look too good, But if you let it sit for a while, it'll dry out, and it doesn't take all that long, a couple weeks, maybe a month, whatever. But it's just a matter of working it, experimenting. The easy thing is to, like I said, clear coat it. There's a product out now by Cerakote too. Cerakote has a product to do fogged headlights now, and they've got a car wax. They've got all kinds of stuff, and it's got ceramic technology to it. And it would probably, I'm thinking that'll work pretty well. We're going to mess around with it with the Cerakoting. The my sandblaster is almost finished. We tricked this thing out completely, and I'm just waiting on one or two parts. That's good to go. Compressor is updated, all that good stuff. This sandblaster has been just taking a while to get everything I need, different parts, and down to some of these thumb screws and stuff so I can quick change the glass when it gets etched and stuff. Been hard to find. I was like 4 short and had to rely on Amazon and a few other things, but we're getting there. And I just want it right. I don't want to, everything is in the prep when it comes to that stuff. And I just want this thing working great without clogging and having to deal with all that bullshit. And I want to be able to just get a nice, even, smooth finish to shoot. And we're also putting together the parkerizing tanks because everything made out of metal that I can parkerize before Cerakoting, we're going to do that. It just holds up so much better. So we're getting there. It's slow but sure. Let's talk about polyurethane. Yeah, that works good. There's so much out there. It's not rocket science, guys. It's just experiment. The problem is, I get it. It's not like the old days where Bakelite was cheap, and if something screwed up, you could just toss it. $5, $3. Now they're $100, $150. I saved a bunch of screw up handguards and stuff, and even screwed up. Well, my screwed up is probably better than what some of you guys consider nice, but I saved a bunch of it, and I should actually get rid of it and put some dough in the bank, but it seems to just go up in value, which gets me to my next subject. So you saw the thumbnail, right? We were lucky enough to obtain an IWI Model A Uzi, brand new in the box, unfired, with every accessory, the box, the whole 9 yards. Some of you guys heard me talk in the past that growing up, my father had one. It was one of those iconic guns that as a kid, you remembered shooting. It stuck out in your head. You thought it was cool. And, in the 80s, the Uzi was everywhere. It was in every movie you saw. When President Reagan, the assassination attempt happened, all the Secret Service guys whipped them out of their jackets, It was all over front page of papers. And this gun just became iconic, like the MP5, right? Sort of had its heyday in the 80s and all, but it's always remained so cool. The cool thing about the Model A's and Model B's, I believe, they came with the display barrel because although they were pistols, they were marketed as carbines because of the NFA laws. You had to have a 16-inch barrel. But the 16-inch barrel looks kind of ridiculous on it, right? You got this cool pistol, and then you got this skinny barrel hanging out the front. And it never looked cool that way. So IWI and their marketing team was smart enough to sell the guns with a dummy barrel. So, and they called it a display barrel. And I think the overall measurement is like 8 inches, but only about, 3-4 inches stick out the front. And there's a barrel nut that ratchets on. So that was always cool too, put your barrel and ratchet it on. Kind of like putting a suppressor on or whatever. And those guns suppress very, very well. I've shot them with suppressors back in the 80s. They were cool. And I remember guys at this particular FFL that my dad hung out at, and they were class 3, and they were always messing around with subsonic rounds, trying to get reloads that would run the gun right and still be subsonic. And we'd go out testing them and all, and it was cool. They'd let me do the shooting and they did the recording, so it was cool. And I was probably 15 or something, but it was a lot of fun. And anyhow, so it comes with this display barrel, and it's an aluminum barrel. The tip, if you look down the bore of it, about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inches bored out. So it looks real until you look in and see the aluminum. But it's a solid aluminum barrel, essentially. And obviously the gun can't be fired with it in there. Matter of fact, that's a good question. I wonder if you could chamber around, and no, I guess you couldn't, because there is no chamber. So yeah, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Chamber around in a solid barrel and kablooey. But it comes with a 16-inch barrel, so you put that in, ratchet it down. Comes with a 20-round mag, a sling, a book, a mag loading tool. Trying to think what other accessories are in there. Might be something else, but that's about all I remember. And then there were 32-round mags for it as well. And what made it stand out, I always remembered the box it came in. It came in a blue box with big gold letters, Uzi, and it looked like a little briefcase almost. Plastic handle was one of those boxes like some toys would come in it. You folded it up, and then the plastic handle popped through the top of the cardboard. You could carry it by it. Well, this one I received is got everything. The box is a little beat up. I wish the box was in better shape, but it's a matching serial number box, but it's missing the gold plastic handle. And I could swear it was there when I first looked at it, but when I took delivery, it was not there. So if anybody happens to have a gold plastic handle laying around, it'd be kind of nice to have. Anyhow. I was lucky enough to come across, and this is going years back already, when my parents moved out of my childhood home and retired. They were moving and going through stuff, throwing stuff away, whatever. And I came across some original Uzi accessories, and one being the original assault case, I guess you'd say. And it's that dark blue. It's got gold, screen printed letters on it, Uzi. And they were going to throw it out. And I thought, I'll take that. And it was like brand new. And I put it away. I've had it put away for years in the hopes that one day I would find one just like it to use it with. And here we are. I got the case, and it's going to be cool. Can take it to the range and all. And there were tons of accessories. IWI marketed all kinds of stuff, from posters to clocks to desk sets to anything you could put the name Uzi on, they did it. And I've got this cool paperweight that has a die-cast Uzi set in the clear plastic with a blue acrylic background. And I've got that, and just some neat stuff to make. It's like a whole set, you know. And I was lucky enough to come across this, and yeah, it's kind of neat. So I can't wait to bring that to you. Um, the dilemma is you have a, let's see, you have almost a 40-year-old original Israeli Uzi in the box, unfired, worth a lot of money, you know, a lot of money. And do you fire it or keep it in the box? What do you do? I already have my answer, and you guys might be surprised by it, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. So put your comments down there. Who else joined in? Tex Bullington's here. Good to have you, man. Anyhow, so we're going to have some cool Uzi videos coming up. Really interesting gun. So the full auto Uzis were open bolt weapons. And when IWI tried to import them, they said, no, that's going to be a no-go with the open bolt. Too easy to convert is what they told them. So they came up with a new solution. They essentially put a blocking bar in and change the bolt. So it operates from a closed bolt. However, it's striker fired. And when you cock the cocking handle back, which is on top of the gun, that in itself is kind of iconic because it's cut out for the sights. Kind of uncomfortable to cock because of the cutouts for the sight. If you're not wearing gloves, it can cut into your hand. When you cock it back, though, it takes the striker back, the whole assembly, and cocks that back. Then the charging handle goes forward. So it's firing from a closed bolt. But when you pull the trigger, that striker assembly is so heavy that it almost feels and acts like an open bolt gun. You can feel that weight kind of rock. Those guns, I guess, there's a gunsmith. Let's see, BWE firearms, I believe. Let me think. BWR or BWE firearms. This guy specializes in Uzis. That's his thing. And he makes a lot of competition guns for guys that are shooting pistol caliber carbines and stuff. And he works on a ton of full auto guns that are on the registry. So an Uzi, a full auto Uzi that's on the NFA list and is transferable amongst citizens, you know, with a tax stamp, will bring at auction anywhere from about, I don't know, 12 grand to 15 grand for a full auto, right? And this guy does a lot of work on them, restorations, different things. And he goes in depth. Some guns, obviously, before the ban or before the amnesty and registering of fully auto weapons, a lot of guys had converted semi-auto guns into full auto, and then during the amnesty registered them, and they went on the NFA list, and they are now legally transferable machine guns. Pay the tax stamp, pay the price whoever has it wants, and you can own a machine gun. That's why they're so expensive. But some of those guns were not only factory-made full autos, some were converted full autos, converted from semi. They get rid of that blocking bar or notch the bolt. I forget which it is now. And a few other things. It's involved. It's not as easy as people think. There's a lot of machining has to go on, all kinds of stuff. It's not that easy. Unless if you're a machinist or you have access to a mill and know how to run it half-ass, I guess you could do it fairly simply. But if you're like me, I don't know the first thing about a mill. I guess with enough time I could figure it out, but who wants to risk screwing up a gun like that? Or as our buddy over at another channel says, slam me in the ass prison for 10 years. Yeah, no, I don't like those type of things, so I steer clear of it. But this guy does a lot of work on them, and what I was getting to was some were factory-made machine guns, others were converted, and then during the amnesty put on the list. So let's say something breaks and it's got to be repaired by a gunsmith. Well, there's intricacies and legalities involved. So some of the gun is the machine gun, the receiver, etc. Others, the bolt is the actual machine gun, the registered part. That being the case on converted semi-autos. The bolt is effectively what the registered part is. So let's say a receiver cracks or something. There's legalities in how he has to do it. Otherwise, the ATF looks at it as if you're making two machine guns, even though you're going to destroy one after. And there was one, I think, if it's a real live full auto gun from the factory, if something happens to the receiver itself, you're screwed. It's done. It's over. Off the list. Done. I think that's the way it goes. But if you want some real great info on Uzis, go over and check out his channel. He really goes into depth in the operation of them, how they work, how they feed, problems they had, and how how to overcome them, and a lot of great information, easy to follow, stuff you wouldn't even have thought of like, hey, why is this thing jamming on the first round? And the little things like the bolt on certain ones is not held back all the way, and it's like a 1/16 of an inch makes all the difference, and here's how to fix it, kind of stuff. Really, really neat. Anyhow, yeah, it's going to be fun and a ton of videos on it, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am. I think if there was ever a gun to SBR, that one might be it. That sure would be cool. And if you SBR it, you can get the short barrel for it and shoot it as it was meant to be. A double stamp gun would be awfully cool too, because that would be a cool gun to suppress. It just looks so cool. This one's got the folding stock on it, which to me, that's the iconic stock, right? Slap it down, pull it out. But I think when it's folded, it's the right way. But when you extend it, I think they look damn cool with the wood stock too. What do you guys think? You guys like wood stock Uzis, or do you prefer the folding metal stocks? They're easy enough to change. It'd be kind of nice to have one and switch it out when I feel like it, whatever I feel like looking at that day, I guess. So yeah, might have to look for one of those. His channel also goes into mini and micro Uzis, and it's a big difference in operation on the micros, and even differences on the minis, and it's quite interesting. And they had that new micro Uzi out that just went out of production not long ago, And did he pass away finally? That's a shame. That's really a shame. Yeah, his name was Richard Hoffman. And this guy had it rough, man, the last few years, but he was tough. And the kid that's in the ATF fight right now over the auto key card, I forget his name, but he kind of brought the guy to everyone's attention. The guy must have been here in Wisconsin, because I don't know how we would have met him otherwise, and maybe just through the internet. But he was helping him to promote his channel. And what had happened was he was diagnosed with stage 4, I think it was colon cancer, maybe. And he said, and literally, guys, he is one of the world's foremost authorities on the Uzi. I mean, the Israelis came to him for solutions to things. And if they needed to know something about the history, sometimes that wasn't in their archives, etc., they came to him. I'm not kidding you. The Israelis came to an American gunsmith to find out information on their own stuff. That's how good this guy was. And Matt over at whatever his channel is, CF Firearms, can't remember the channel. He kind of brought him out of the shadows. He said, "Hey, you really need to get your channel moving, and here's how to do it." And gave him some help with it, and really pushed him to get it out there. And he says in almost every video that, "Hey, here, I've got stage 4 cancer. I'm dying of it. And I just figured if I don't get this out of my head and onto video or in other people's heads, it's going to be lost forever." Well, unfortunately, now that I found this out, in my opinion, we're just a little too late. I mean, he got a lot of it out, but not nearly enough. He was, in my opinion, kind of like Mark Krebs is to the AK. This guy was to the Uzi. And he got some of it on video and showed different things. He's got quite a few videos, but just scratching the surface. And it's a shame. He went to the grave with it. And I don't know that there's that many out there with the information and knowledge he had. And it's certainly a loss to the firearm world, and certainly a loss to the Uzi crowd, that's for sure. And there's still a huge following to the Uzi. That's a shame. I was watching, I think, one of his videos last night before, and I thought, I wonder if he's still kicking, And in the interim, he had found out he was dying. And then I believe he lost his wife during his fight with cancer. She passed away. I think it was kind of unexpected. And it was kind of that age-old situation you run into where he was the gunsmith. He was the guy with all the knowledge. He was the hands-on doing all the work. Maybe he had one helper. It looked like maybe his son was a little involved. He was starting to teach him. I think it was his son. And again, maybe a little too late on that. But she passed away unexpectedly. He did all the work. She did all the books, did all the sales of parts, because he makes all kinds of stuff for him. Bullet guides, weld-in bullet guides for these guns. That was a cool video. They showed how he put those in and welded them in and everything. He would even weld in on the side of the receivers and save the markings and everything, but make them smooth and just really take old guns that had some pitting and fill the pitting in and then make them smooth and redo them. They were gorgeous. He also did a lot with Swiss guns. And so he was doing a project painting, Cerakoting one of those. That was a cool video. Anyways, his wife did all the accounting, the billing, selling the parts, answering the phones, doing the taxes, all that stuff. And when she passed away, he did a video and he said, "I don't know what we're going to do." He goes, "I'm lost. I don't know the first thing about my business. I'm the guy turning the wrenches, and she knows everything or knew everything. And now what? Well, it seems like he didn't last too much longer after that. So it's a shame. Looked like I believe it's his son, was an adult. So I'm sure he'll handle the estate and all. But uh, there's a loss of parts, things being supplied to the industry and to aficionados. Maybe someone will jump in, offer their help, although it might be one of those situations where they're looking to steal, you know, ideas, patents, who knows, whatever. Anyways, probably not a good situation. I don't know how long ago he passed away. Um, last week, just last week. Damn. I wonder if Matt did a video. That's a shame, guys. Thanks for telling us, Tex. I did not know that. And whether you've watched his videos or had an appreciation for the Uzi or not, you should say a little prayer for that man and his family, because seemed like truly just a nice guy that just wanted to share what he had. And to some people that aren't in the hobby, it might seem like, okay, big deal. Guys' own businesses pass away all the time. Well, that kind of knowledge, gunsmiths are far and few between as it is. And when you lose one that is that devoted to one platform, you can just think about making a living on one platform. And I'm not talking, snap together guns here. I'm talking gunsmith machining guns, yeah, that's quite a loss. So if you get a chance, go over to his channel, check it out. He's got ways, I'm sure, to I know he had ways to donate money to the channel through YouTube or whatever. I'm sure his family could probably use it right about now, with mom going, dad going. I don't know what's left. Yeah, CRS Firearms Matt. I'm sure he'll do a video on it if he hasn't already. And I got to look up. I never looked up his website, but I got to assume he's from Wisconsin, which I'm surprised I hadn't heard of him before or ran into him. But interesting, very interesting. So I can't wait to get this thing out. I haven't shot one since I was 13, 14, 15. So it's going to be fun. And I hope it's as fun as I remember. But either way, it'll be fun because it's memories of me, my dad, my brother going to the range. And that was always one that came along. It was so cool. And I always sat up on a closet shelf in my brother's closet, actually. And I'd look at that blue box with the gold labels, and it never failed. I'd open his closet to grab a toy or something and look up and run in. Hey, Dad, can we go to the range? And we'd always want to bring that. But it's going to be cool to have one again. So I can't wait to show it to you guys. Along with it, got a couple other cool things that we'll bring to you over the next few weeks. One is a Daewoo K200, I believe. Kind of a hybrid AR, for those of you that don't know. It's a standard issue battle rifle for the South Korean Army. For years, they had received and or bought ARs, Colt ARs, and that's what they equipped their army with. Well, paying Colt all that money for those, they were producing them over there, I guess, under license from Colt, and it got expensive. Not to mention the leader of South Korea at that time was a very nationalistic type of guy and wanted to bring the manufacturing in country. Not that they were manufacturing those by license, but they wanted it to be a truly Korean gun. Something that was designed there, completely manufactured there. So in time of war, you can produce your own stuff, right? Not be reliant upon other countries. And that's what they did. And essentially, they took an AR lower. It's not the same, but it's very similar. Fire control group similar. Mag release is similar. Bolt catch is similar, except you can't. You can drop the bolt the same way, but you can't really rock it down to lock the bolt open. So it takes AR mags. I think they were probably issued originally with 20 round AR mags, but it'll hold basically any type of AR mag pulls, whatever. I'm trying to think what else, but the upper is completely different. They took some of the stuff from the FAL. There's hints of the AK in there. It's a long piston gas system, and it's just a cool gun, and very handy, very easy to use, very familiar because of the AR portion of it. So we'll be bringing you that. It's 5.56 gun, and yeah, can't wait to bring that to you. And what else? One more. Oh, that one's brand new in the box, unfired, by the way. I guess sort of collectible. There's, they haven't been around forever and ever. They were brought in by a couple different distributors over the years. And I think there's like a K100 and a K200. And yeah, they're cool, interesting. Came with a sling, not much, not a ton of stuff with that one, but some stuff. Haven't shot it, never shot one. Knew they were around, but never had much interest in them. But it became available, and I'll get into that whole story when we do the videos. Kind of a neat story. And kind of the one that makes the most sense for the channel. We got a Hungarian pre-band fixed stock, which is kind of rare. There were many more underfolders brought in, but a Hungarian AK, what is it, model 58, I believe. So what those were, M58, something like that, or S58. Brand new in the box, unfired, all the accessories. Came with the red and white oil bottles, came with 3 mags, toolkit, a gas block tool, sling. I'm trying to think what else is in there. I don't know. All original in the box with everything. All still in the plastic, still in the factory oil, the whole 9 yards. I just got to the last one, taking the oil off of it and checking it all out. And they are just gorgeous mint, all pre-band stuff. Really neat. A super well finished rifle. I never had much respect for the Hungarian guns. I'd see them at a gun dealer once in a while, and so Kazna did here. Difference between pre-band and post-band is the pre-bands were brought in by Kaznar, and post-bands were usually kick guns, I think, put together. There may have been some that came in directly from FEG, but I don't know. I never even looked that much into them. But these pre-bands are some of the nicest fit and finish I've ever seen on an AK, ever. The finishes on this gun are impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. Beautiful blonde wood, not junk. Pre-band. We didn't have to deal with all the other crap you got to deal with today, getting balsa wood furniture that they switch out and all that stuff. So it's got gorgeous wood on it. looks to be being pre-banned also has, the original trigger. And my experience with every other AK that has a Block trigger in it is that you don't get that bolt hang up because the hammers are much flatter. And this one is the same thing. However, it hangs up like crazy. Well, I guess I haven't lubed it and it hasn't been shot. So I really shouldn't say much about it until and if we shoot it. A couple other mags with it, so I haven't even inserted one of the other mags. There's not a scratch on them. There's a slight scratch from operating the safety back and forth, but no marks on the bolt, no marks anywhere. The gun really hasn't even been racked. So that's how mint these things are. But the fit and finish on them, at least on this pre-ban, remarkable. Better than any Bulgarian gun I've ever had, both stamped and or milled. Better than any Chinese gun. Certainly better than any Romanian gun. Better than Russian guns. Just really, really, really nice. I can't say enough about it. I was really impressed. Chrome line barrel, whole 9 yards, slant brake, 1,000-meter sight. What else? Top cover fits super nice. Safety was very tight. I did loosen that up just because I knew I'd be, if not firing it, playing with it. So I didn't want to scratch the receiver anymore. So I adjusted the safety on it. So at least that's riding lighter on the receiver, but it was very tight to begin with, needed to be loosened up. So we did that. Other than that, there was even on all of these, any of the sling swivels, they had tape put over them. So if they moved, flopped from side to side or in the box, they wouldn't scratch anything. That's how meticulous these things were put away. Incredible. So while not crazy collectible guns, they're still pre-banned. I guess in some circles they'd be considered. There's guys that would certainly be like, "Oh my God," but certainly a really just nice package. And that's why things have been a little quiet around the channel, just trying to figure out how to get this thing handled, taken care of. It's been handled for a while, but long story. But we'll tell it when we do the videos. Anyhow, yeah, so that's exciting. What do you guys think? Anybody got a Hungarian AK? Anybody have a Korean Daewoo or an Uzi? Anybody? Boy, it got awfully quiet over here. And there's a few people in the chat. Kind of a slow evening, huh? I don't know. What are you guys saying? Let's see. So DB's here. Probably evening, gents from Tex. Hillbilly Nitro USA says hello. Richard Hoffman, yeah. That was the gentleman with the Uzis. CRS Matt, yeah. Sounds very cool. The White Knight is here too. So yeah, you guys are going to see these Uzi Model A videos coming. The Daewoo, I can't wait to shoot that thing. There's a lot of aftermarket parts out there for the Daewoo to modernize it, handguards and stuff. It would be nice to put an optic on it, but I think all three of these guns we're going to kind of leave alone because they're pre-banned. The Hungarian one we'll leave alone. But man, they're going to be fun to shoot. That Hungarian is super smooth. FEG made such nice stuff. Kind of gets me in the mood for an AMD. I don't know. I never thought much of those things. I always looked at them as kind of weird. But now seeing the quality of this gun, I'd put it up there against anything, even Russian. It's that nice, guys. Um, so yeah, it's cool. Um, then there's some other stuff that we're going to bring you, kind of off the wall stuff. You guys remember the PPSHs, the 22 clones, sort of? They were brought in from several different manufacturers, importers. I think most were made by Pieta in Italy, and brought in by different manufacturers, but they sort of kind of look like a PPSH subgun from Russia, but they're in 22 caliber, and they're just kind of cool. I got one of those, new in the box, and then we've got this 22 caliber AK, sort of AK. It's die cast, takes 10 round mag. It looks like a AK mag, but it's got a 22 mag built into it. Really, when you look at it and everything, looks like such a piece of junk, typical 22 die cast stuff, until you get to the furniture. It's this cheap die cast gun with this gorgeous walnut stock and handguard on it and pistol grip. You're like, God, I never seen wood that nice on a real AK, let alone this thing. So something to mess around with, I guess. Not worth a lot of money, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that PPSH is bringing a little money now, because I don't know if anybody's imported one in a long time. And they are cool. They make it comes with a 50 round drum and just some neat stuff. So it looks the part, that's for sure. But yeah. So that'll be kind of fun to play with, I guess. But we'll see. It'll be some fun stuff to bring you. And hey, it's always, who doesn't like a range trip with 22? It's always fun, and it's cheap, and you can blast away and have a good time. 22s are always a blast. Sometimes we do just 22 range days where you bring a few, or every 22 pistol you got, and every 22 rifle, and a couple thousand rounds of 22 LR, and go have fun for the day. And it's usually fun for about, the first half hour. And then all this shit starts jamming like crazy, like 22s do, or the duds start happening, and you're like, screw this shit, where's the real guns? But no, we've got some 22s that run really well. I still have a love-hate relationship with my Glock 44, which is Glock's attempt at a 22 long rifle pistol. It's essentially a Glock 19. Traffic. Glock 19 in 22 cal. Same size, same shape, same everything. 10 round mags. Again, why they didn't go with more capacity, I don't know. And I bought it because it said Glock on it, and I thought, well, everything else Glock just runs and runs. I'm pretty sure they finally figured out the secret to a reliable 22 caliber autoloader. Well, nope, they didn't. While the gun will run flawlessly all day, every time on, the hell ammo is that? Starts with an A, out of Mexico. Damn it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it'll run those 38 grains, that Mexican ammo, great stuff. It runs flawlessly. Put just about anything else in there, and it'll jam, loading the first round. I don't know. No better than anything else. Some of the best 22 pistols I've seen. I don't know if you guys want to get on a 22 pistol conversation here, but there's two 22 pistols out there that run on just about anything and everything always. Don't ever miss a beat. And that is the Taurus TX22. That gun, it just eats everything. Anything. get a handful of junk ammo that's turned green in a drawer somewhere and was stored in a muddy coffee can, throw it in the gun and it'll run. The other one is the Ruger SR22. That thing eats everything and anything and keeps on running. Really kind of a cool gun. My dad has one. I think he got it for his birthday from my mom. And I've messed around with it a few times, and that gun just runs and runs and runs. Same thing. Anything you feed it, dig out, stuff from the 50s or, that Remington Golden, whatever. That stuff is absolute garbage, dirty, filthy, nasty, dud-filled ammo, and it still runs that stuff. Those two guns are, in my experience, the best two running 22 pistols there are. Like I said, that Glock runs great on Aguila. That's the name of the ammo. Aguila 38 grain. I literally shot that Glock a couple months ago. As fast as I could run those two clips and reload them and shoot them again and reload them and shoot them again. I ran through a 500 round box as fast as I could, and it never missed a beat, not one. And then I got done with the 500 and I loaded one clip. It was a clipazine, one mag of, the hell was it? Wasn't CCI. I think it was Remington Gold Box or Golden Boy or whatever the hell that shit is. Loaded it in first round. Blink. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It will run CCI, Stingers, and some of their hotter stuff just fine. But anything else. And I noticed on like that cheap Remington ammo, you can actually rotate the bullet in the casing. They're all loose. Like not loose like you can pull them out. Try as hard as you want. You can't pull them out, but you can rotate them in the shell easily. Almost every one of them in the box. And not just one batch. Multiple boxes purchased at different times. They all do that crap. I don't know why. I think if I were to store away 22 ammo, I think it would be that Aguila, the 38 and the 40 grain. Really nice stuff. I think we'll do a 22 autoloader video and sort of a ammo test combo. And we'll look at reliability. We'll look at, if some brands tend to have more duds or things that just won't fire on multiple strikes kind of thing, or first strike. We'll look at how dirty the guns are afterwards, because there's a lot of 22 that, man, your gun just looks like it was put in an oil well and baked in an oven afterwards, just black goop everywhere. So yeah, it'll be kind of cool. 22 rifles seem to not have as many problems. I mean, you got 10-22s that run great. Even Mossberg Plinksters that I've owned and shot seem to run just about anything. It's always the pistols. I don't know why. But I guess out of the two pistols I told you were, in my book, the most reliable, the Taurus and that Ruger, I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be the Taurus. They're both good, both great, but I've just heard, maybe because there's more of them out there, but I've heard from multiple people that own them. Whenever I bring it up, they all chime in and say, yeah, mine's great too. Never a problem. So I guess if I had to lean that way, I'd go that way. I don't currently have one, but I've run them a ton of times and they just keep going. I wish the Glock was as reliable. And while I like The Glock mag, sort of, kind of, with the thumb thing to pull down and all. They just seem, I don't know. They don't seem to load as nicely as others. And I sure wish they had done, 15 rounds would be great. Hell, even 13 would be great, but 15 or 18 or anything. I mean, I don't know why they didn't do that. 10 rounds, I mean, 22 especially, you're just getting going and you're reloading, So, I don't know. You guys like 22 pistols as much? I have carried my 22 Glock on a couple occasions. Certainly not every day, only on a couple occasions as my EDC for that day. I guess I wouldn't make it an EDC, would it? But I've carried it a couple times. And there's another ammo that I run, a self-defense ammo that we'll show you in the video. And that stuff runs real well too. It's a little hotter and a neat bullet. And those run extremely well. They're just expensive. But, would I want to get into a gunfight with it? Absolutely not. But it's certainly better than nothing. And, with the right shot placement, be just as good as a 9, with the right shot. But I've done it a few times just because, I guess, who knows? I don't know. Just something different. Break it up a little, right? AMD parts kits used to be dirt cheap. Used to be, yeah. I remember when you used to see the blue furniture, too, around a lot more. And now that stuff's kind of like, or probably rarer than having Romanian dong or something. But yeah, they used to be everywhere. Misha's got some really good videos on those and all the different trials and tribulations and types and years and differences and all of that. But they kind of enthused me. I always thought it was like last on my list, and I guess it kind of is because, I have very little I want to add at this point to the collection, but I guess we're down to AMD, and now with this other Hungarian, it kind of interests me. So we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, you got, there's times in your collecting years that you're buying because there's a lot that you need or want. And then as your collection advances, you become more selective, and it's quality over quantity. Or maybe you have the quantity, so now it's maybe time to replace some of the placeholders, so to speak, or get a better example of something you have, something a little cleaner, nicer, better condition, whatever. And then you just become more selective, and in a way almost sometimes less selective, because things you would not have considered before is now, well, I want one. It's kind of, it was last on the list, but since you don't have it, well, now I have to have it. So in a way, you're not saying I'm less selective in condition or quality, but it's like, oh yeah, I really didn't want one, but now I have to have it to finish it off, that kind of thing. So if that's what the AMD is, I don't know. We'll see. But a lot of those things, as your collection advances, you wait and they fall in your lap, kind of thing. You don't go searching. Seems like when you search for things, you can make moves that aren't the smartest, maybe pay too much or buy one that's not that great. And when you let things fall in your lap, you usually end up with a better deal on a better gun. So you got to be smart. That's all. Um, the good news is, like I always say, you will never or rarely lose money when it comes to gun collecting. Um, I don't ever go into it looking to make money. I'm buying stuff because I enjoy it, because I want it. I want to keep it. I want it in my collection. I enjoy looking at it, futzing with it, polishing it, oiling it, shooting it, bringing it to you guys, all of that. But it's always certainly nice to know that you're not going to lose any money on it. It's not like some hobbies where anything you buy, you're going to lose money on. It's going to cost you. It's like building a drag car, right? You may build whatever, a 78 Trans Am or a Camaro or something. And while if you're into collecting original muscle cars, that's one thing. You're not going to lose money. Market may shift here and there, but you're not going to lose money. But when you're building drag cars or go fast cars, you are never getting out the money you put in it. Same with motorcycles, same with snowmobiles, off-road quads or side-by-sides or any of that go fast stuff. You will never get your money out of it, ever. And some guys think they can, but anyone doing it for a little while knows they're not going to see it, unless you happen to find a dummy. But that being said, unless you are buying the most basic firearm that is kind of an everyday run-of-the-mill, there's 10 million of them out there, common 9mm Smith & Wesson whatever, or Taurus whatever, you're not going to lose any money on it, ever. You'll at least break even, It's not to say if you bought a 2023 whatever, you sold it right away because you didn't like it, yeah, maybe you lose 100 or two. But that's about the extent of it, right? Pretty much anything cool out there or out of the FUD realm or everyday carry realm, you're not going to lose a dime. So it's a great savings account. And in most cases, if you hang on to them for any period of time, your family can look at it as an investment. Now, in my case, I hope my family keeps them and passes them on, and my grandkids have them and their grandkids, and enjoy them and remember the stories and shooting them and all that stuff. It's like this Uzi, while it's not the same gun my dad had, it's the exact same model, and I remember being a little kid shooting that gun, and I loved it. So it's cool. It's cool to have one again and be able to shoot it. I can't wait for my brother to shoot it. He'll love it. And yeah, it's neat. And you're not going to lose any money. Now, will you lose money on a TX22? Probably, Although, with the way inflation goes, you buy one today for, well, the last one I think I got for $199 maybe. And now I think they were $250. I'll bet you they're $300, $350 now. So maybe you don't lose money. At least in these days, you don't. Everything used seems to be worth more than new, including late model cars and everything, although that's kind of changing now. It's kind of leveling out. But yeah, you won't lose any money. So next time your wife bothers you about it, you're spending more on guns, just tell her it's like a what do you call it? 401k, right? It's a F401k, firearm 401k. I can tell you this, anything invested in the AK market in the last 10 years, 15 years, you have done better than the market, better than gold, better than silver, better than just about anything. It's crazy, and I don't see it going anywhere soon. Um, I'm still trying to figure out, and you guys will know, but I'm still trying to figure out what's cheap right now. What has been cheap? ARs, right? Dirt cheap. It's the time of the AR. Um, even now you can still buy Palmetto State Armory upper and lower, or even a complete gun, and $400. When they have a sale. Now, I'm not saying Palmetto State Armory guns are going to be collectible, and others have went up. Like, it was kind of a no-brainer. You could always go buy a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport or whatever for $699, $550, something like that. Or what's the other one? I don't know, one or two others out there in that price range. And are you going to make money on those? No, but there's other guns that, comparatively speaking, like Colt has that SOCOM out and the Collector series. Even at full-blown retail, they're not a lot of money compared to the AK market right now. And those guns will be worth a lot of money. But other than that, what do you buy in the AR market that will be worth money? I don't know. Will any Aero stuff be worth money? It's kind of weird, right? Because the AR market there's so many, nobody buys a whole AR anymore. They buy an upper, they buy a lower, maybe from the same company, maybe different. Maybe they build it. Maybe it's got rarely will it have all the parts from one manufacturer, right? You could get into some of the higher end guns, and maybe those are worth money. But it all seems to come down to, with everything else, military guns, right? Guns that were used by the military. So FN AR-15s, Colt AR-15s, maybe LaRue. I don't know. Could you buy a LaRue and that thing's worth money down the line? I don't know. But it sure seems like that's the cheap market, right? It's totally flip-flopped. ARs were up here and AKs were junked down here. And now any AR almost is worth, or any AK is worth way more now than an AR. And the tables have totally turned. So guys say, oh, you got into the AKs back when it was good and they were cheap and you bought all these and you probably made a fortune. Well, maybe on paper. I don't plan on selling them anytime soon. Will it stay like that? Kind of. I'm thinking for a long time, because it seems once guns go up, market may drop a little bit, but they tend to hold at that same level. I don't think you'll ever see an SGL 21 or 31 all of a sudden dropping by half, I think they'll hold where they're at. Same with the arsenals. Vepers. I don't think a Vepr now is $4,000, period. Will you see $3,000 Veprs? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't see that market changing at all. Will you maybe drop a couple hundred because of market conditions, stuff like that? But when they're gone, right? It's like pre-ban stuff. When they're gone, they're gone. They're on the secondary market. So now it's what the market will bear. And there's a fixed static amount of them. Unless it's like NFA guns, stuff, fully automatic guns on the NFA list, on the registration list. There's a finite amount. Now, if the NFA goes away and we can legally buy machine guns again and can buy silencers without over-the-counter and all that good stuff, short-barreled rifles, will those guns on the registry hold up? Will they stay like pre-ban, sort of? Well, new stuff will be post-ban, no ban, right? If the NFA went away. There could be guys out there with huge collections of very expensive machine guns that are now worth, well, not nothing, but essentially worth what you can buy a new one for, right? Unless, of course, you can't get that gun, period. Like a Russian import or a Chinese import. Those are gone for good. So you're not going to see, even if the NFA went away, new full automatic versions of those. I doubt those bans will ever go away, especially looking at current events, right? Speaking of current events, how long have we been on? We covered a lot of ground in an hour and 20 minutes. Usually I'm just getting going at an hour and 20, but feels like we've covered a ton. Let's check in on the chat here. You guys are not chatting up a storm tonight like usual. Must be late, and a lot of the guys that do all the chatting aren't in here. But let's see. I got a Walther P22 and a Ruger SR22. They both run very well. I want the new TX22 compact now. I hear good things about them. I didn't know they came out with a compact. I mean, how much more compact can you get than the regular TX22? I don't know. But I'm sure it'll be great. Those guns just seem to run. Whatever it is, Taurus figured it out on that. Atlantic Firearms has Hungarian part kits built with FP radom barrels and U.S. receivers for around $1,200. What you think? Good price? Well, Atlantic puts together good guns. The guys they have building them, I have heard no complaints about their builds. Everything, I've only seen a couple of them in person, but they certainly seem to do a good job at it. And their parts kits seem to be good. Obviously, the radom barrels are good. Their receivers, they're either Childers or whoever they're using. $1,200. I mean, what can you get for $1,200 today, or under $1,200? You can get a Wasser. You can get a Pioneer. You can get Rabbit Hole Reviews. Finally made it in. Here, I thought we were going to get through a whole episode without him, guys. Damn it, he showed up. No, I'm kidding. That's all right, man. What's up, Ross? Ross made it in from Michigan. Good to see you. You guys are you guys getting all that snow we're gonna get here? We are getting 2 feet of snow, man. It's coming hard, baby. Can't wait. I love it. As soon as I get out of this ridiculously hot state of Florida. Yeah. No, I had to come down and do some post-hurricane repairs. And so I'm down here for a couple of days taking care of that stuff. And then I will get back up north to dig out. But I am not one for the heat. I don't think I could ever live here full time. It's nice in the winter to come down for a little while. But the minute I start sweating, and I don't know, it's one thing to vacation down here. It's another if you were living down here and like this, I got work to do basically, and you're dealing with traffic and all that stuff. And the stores, it's ridiculous, the amount of people down here. And I don't know if I could, I guess if you're retired and you can do what you want when you want, it's one thing. But I like the cold. So I don't know. For now, I guess as you get older, you start hating it more and more. But I don't know. I still enjoy it. When it gets hot here for long periods, everything just feels dirty and sticky, and 2 showers a day minimum and that kind of thing. It's nice to visit for a few days and then head back up north. Something about freezing temperatures, ice and snow, I feel just like fire cleanses. I feel like that super freezing cold cleanses. Down here, you never get rid of pollen, bacteria, this, that, the other. Up there, it freezes it out and the air gets cleaner. Things die off. I don't know. It just feels better that way to me. And I don't know. I don't like to sweat. So I'll enjoy it while I'm here, and I'll look forward to getting back. That's all. And I like to change of season. I don't know if there's any perfect place. Those middle states, while they don't get the extremes, the winter just seems to get gray and brown and barren. I think I'd rather have white snow covering everything in the winter than just barren, like Tennessee, kind of, Kentucky, maybe. I don't know. Stuff like that. I don't know that there's any good place to move after some of the stuff I've been researching and hearing lately. Real quick, I'll touch on this. You guys have probably, maybe some of you have barely heard mention, maybe in the background, maybe you heard something, actually you listened, but they're talking about this thing called 15-minute cities. Have you guys heard about that? So essentially it's urbanization, whether in a city or near a city, where these neighborhoods, here's why I hate Florida. Listen, guys. You hear that? That's all night long, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, all these idiots driving by with these rice burner fart cans or these beater super bikes that are trashed out by the sun, and they think they're badasses. Florida, I like their politics and all of that, but man, I don't know. Weird state. Anyhow, 15-minute cities. They want to build these cities where you don't need cars, because you shouldn't have a car. You don't need it. It's contributing to global warming, climate change. You don't need it. In a 15-minute city, you will be able to walk to whatever you need, grocery store, job, shopping, whatever, within 15 minutes. No need for a car, transportation, nothing. 15 minutes, you can walk there. Once those are in place, there'll be fines for leaving your zone. If you go outside that zone, there'll be fines, and they will debit your account automatically because you're wasting energy, contributing to global decay and climate change and all of that stuff. Now, they're not going to bill it as that at first. This is going to be a wonderful thing. Everything you need within 15 minutes. No need to own a car and car payments and insurance and all this. Who needs that freedom? We don't need any freedom. Forget about it. 15-minute cities. There's a project out there. How's this getting pushed? Through a project called the C40. C40 is who's behind all of this. Now, here's where it gets, you say, well, I don't live in a city. I live rural, right? Here's the plan. And now that the COVID thing's over, the push is global warming. That's all they're going to push. That's all you're going to hear. And you'll start hearing certain phrases. I'm not going to go in depth in this. I just want you to tuck these in the back of your brain. So when you start hearing them in the news, reading them in the paper, seeing blurbs on the internet, it'll go ding, ding. Where did I hear that? Oh, yeah. Rock said to listen for that. What is this? I promise you will start hearing about it if you haven't already in the next few weeks, and it'll just build and build and build over the next months, year, whatever. The problem is what's going to happen right now before it's in common lingo in use, because something very important is going to happen to everyone here regarding laws that might not seem like a big deal right now. Matter of fact, they'd slide right by. You wouldn't notice. But when the time comes, those laws will be like the hammer dropping. Boom. And you will lose your property, maybe your home, your place to live, and someone else is going to get it. So I'm going to tell you what to watch for real quick. So you're going to watch for C40. And if you don't believe me, look it up. They actually have a YouTube channel, C40. It's from the organization. And it's all these cities around the globe, from Barcelona to Salt Lake City, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, all the typical Democratic cities. 2 in Texas, I believe Austin and one other, I can't remember. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, a lot of African cities. Anyhow, they're going to be under the C40. And on that C40 YouTube channel, there's the mayor of every one of these cities talking, doing videos. Seems very benign and wonderful. We're just figuring out how to make better cities. It ties in the border. It ties in everything. So all these people coming to the border, why are they letting them in? Why is this happening? Where are they coming from? Why are they doing this? Are they crazy? No, it's like I said before, it's part of the plan. They're not crazy. They know what they're doing. It's not, why are they doing this? Oh my God, they're so stupid. It's not that. It's the plan. All these people coming, it's not Mexicans anymore. It's Guatemalans. It's all these South American. It's people from all over the world. And it has everything to do with the UN. I expect this video to be gone very quick because of this. That's how deep and important this is. And it's the final plan. Go to the UN. I already looked this up because I'm sick of hearing things and then it all being a bunch of bullshit. So I went, it's all over the UN site. UN is your absolute enemy. We need to be out of the UN, and the UN needs to be disbanded, gone, because those running it and those in charge are just, they want to take everything you have. That's the bottom line. And we are paying for them to do it and supporting them to do it. That's the sad thing. This is this important. So listen to this. So you're going to hear about the C40, hear about the 15-minute cities. And then there's going to be a thing called, and I got to think of the term here. So many terms so quick, but regularization. So think of it, all these tent cities and shanty towns, like go out to Oregon. God damn it, the city on the coast. Too much info in a couple days here. Anyhow, there's these tent cities springing up. You can see them on the side of mountains out there, and they're still there. It didn't end with the Black Lives Matter thing and all of that. They're there. And they're especially there, like think about the slums in Colombia and things where there are these shanty towns, right? All these people coming to the border where they're dropping them all over the place. These little tent cities are springing up, even FEMA camps, stuff like that. They're housing these people and they're essentially on others' land, but in these tents, shanty towns, whatever. They want to regularize them. What that is code word for is they're squatting, right? They're going to legalize where that land becomes theirs, belongs to them. And there's laws. You need to check with your county, check with your city, board, whoever, and make sure that there are no laws being passed that are changing any of your zoning or anything regarding property rights, no matter how benign it seems, because they're doing it all over the place. Start looking up videos on here about it. And they're going to pass these laws, and then the regularization will happen where they're going to make it regular. And even though they're not citizens, they're going to regularize their property rights, regularize their working, their citizenship, everything, because it's about redistribution of people around the world, not just here. This is global, guys. And if you start looking it up, it's everywhere, and it's the God's honest truth. I spent last night just looking at the mass amount of information and freaking the fuck out. I don't swear very much on this channel, but I believe it's the biggest threat and sort of almost the end game to a lot of this. when it comes to the urban setting, that's what they're going to be doing. Okay, so they're going to be regularizing these properties that have been squatted on, and you'll see a lot more squatting and things like that. Here in Florida, actually, they're talking about this is a high rent neighborhood, right? Right on the coast, everything. I'm looking at the water here. And a few blocks away, they're putting FEMA trailers right up the street here. They're going to load a whole bunch of property up with them, and they'll end up owning them. It's nuts, absolutely nuts. And if you don't stop it now, you might think, oh, it's nothing. It's just a small zoning change or something. No, it might not be much now, but what comes later on, all of a sudden you'll go, oh my God. And it's legal because you let this happen here. That the way they're going to be phrased, there's videos on it. Watch. Just make sure it doesn't happen. Get involved now. Start talking to people about it because it's so new. You haven't, this is like talking about COVID months before it happened, a year before it happened. And you said, well, that couldn't happen. And it did, right? And then you had to wear masks forever. And that had never happened, right? But it did. So trust me when I tell you this is going to happen. It's not crazy. The proof is there. Go to the UN website. Just search C40 right here on YouTube. Check it out. Watch these mayors talk about it. And it's all coated in the sugar coat right now, right? But start digging in it. Just Google, what does this mean? What will it do? What are the downsides to this? It'll all pop up. It's legit. You'll hear the mayors talking about it. And it's worldwide. And equity is part of it. It's all equity. It doesn't matter that you worked for it. It doesn't matter that your parents worked for it, passed it on to you, a business or property or anything. Doesn't matter. You don't deserve that. Everyone has to have an equal amount. And they're going to get theirs for free. Why? Because they're taking it from you. If you live rural, well, I'm good, right? I'm outside the city. No. Now it's about property use and how much property you can have, one person can have. Well, yeah, Farmer Ned, you got 200 acres and you're farming it. But in reality, you don't need that much. You only need 20 acres. That's what's sustainable for you. So we're going to take this and we're going to give it to these people. They're going to take it. And that's one of the downsides they argue. There's even on the UN site, there's a plan of how to introduce this to the citizens, to the people, to the areas you're going into. These people that are in there, they're essentially volunteers is how I read it on the UN site, that go into these areas. It's got to start with bringing these non-citizens in, right? It's got to start there. And then they come in and say, well, we need a place for them to live. It's only going to be temporary, maybe 18 months, But once they're there, then these laws they put in a year or two before that, kaboom, and it's theirs. Pay attention. So you think you're fine? You got 40 acres in rural Michigan somewhere? Yeah, not going to be your 40 acres very long. Now, it may not happen everywhere in the country. It may only be these strongholds, Democratic strongholds. But look, Michigan, Illinois, California, New York, upstate New York, Florida even. You got DeSantis down here, and this is still going on because they're flying under the radar right now. It's not out there. All this slang's not out there. These terms, none of it's out there. And they're still sugarcoating it because the hammer part hasn't started to drop yet, right? Look at New York City, guys. Parts of New York City were tourist destinations, just like Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. The downtown area, the Gold Coast, the Rush Street area, Michigan Avenue, all of that was a tourist area. You had all your Highline shops, Gucci, Prada, this, that, the other. And people came there shopping from all over the country. And they came to see the Rock and Roll McDonald's and go to Rainforest Cafe and Hard Rock. And it was all tourists. You had the lake, and they got to stay in these hotels and see the Sears Tower and John Hancock. And all these businesses sprung up around it to feed them, to sell them things while they were there, to provide entertainment for them while they were there, the hotels, the restaurants, all of it, right? All sprung up to feed this tourism. Well, now you have this mass influx of people coming across the border that they're now moving into these cities, and they're filling entire hotels with them. So now they're in these hotels and these rentals all around this tourist area, right? Well, when you fill up that tourist area with people just emigrating here who have no money to spend, or the money they do have, the little they do have, they have to spend to live, right? They can no longer support these businesses that surround this area, and it all implodes on itself. It's happening in New York. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening in LA. All these big cities had huge tourism, right? It's all going away, and they are becoming ultra slums. I grew up in the city of Chicago. I was never afraid to walk anywhere. 3 a.m, walk down Rush Street. 3 a.m, walk down Michigan Avenue. 3 a.m, Water Tower Place, Wrigleyville, anywhere. Never worried. You didn't go to the West Side. You didn't go to the South Side. That you'd get in trouble, sure. But the rest of it was fine. Clean as a whistle. There was a cop. Nothing would happen. Nobody, no criminal would dare do anything in any of these areas, right? Because they'd get the hammer so fast. I was down there, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was. I drove through. I didn't recognize the town I grew up in. I didn't even recognize the suburbs. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The city, filthy, dirty, nasty, homeless everywhere. They were homeless, but they were kept in certain areas where it's way over. It's unbelievable, guys. You would not recognize it. I'm sure some of you have seen the same thing. That's the plan. You say, well, why are they letting these cities go like this? That's the plan, because then we need this urbanization, and we need these zones in the city, these 15-minute zones, so we can bring these projects in. And what do the projects bring? Money that they're spending, which, of course, lots of it goes missing, right? And again, they get richer and richer. You get poorer and poorer. Your freedoms get pulled away. And before you know it, they have your property rights. And those that aren't going to be happy about it the most are those that work the hardest and have the most, right? Busted their ass to have the little bit they do have, and they're going to take it from you. And don't keep in mind, this reset and inflation and all is part of it too, because you planned and saved for retirement to pay for things and whatnot. And now when everything's double the cost, you quite can't afford it. So who's going to step in to help, or just flat ass take it from you because you can't afford it anymore? It's all part of the plan, guys. There's no more middle class. None. Zero. The less than middle. And it's this. Here it is. Go to the UN site. Check it out. Search right here on the platform you're on, C40. Search it. Search Google. Read a little deeper. Get to page 2, page 3, page 4. Start reading. It is the plan. You'll hear global warming, equity. It'll be all about global warming and the push for it. Equity, inclusion, C40, 15-minute cities, and all this. And I'll get you the proper term for it. Regularization of something. Regularization. Just listen for that. Don't think I'm nuts. Don't think I'm blowing it out of proportion. If anything, I should be screaming at the top of my lungs right now. That's the plan is out there. The plan is laid out. Here's what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It's on the UN site. The mayors are talking about it. It's going to be coming much quicker than you think. And by the time it does, it's too late. the big thing, the only thing you can do right now is watch for what's coming up at city meetings, county meetings, this and that on property rights. I'll bet you these people in the cities and the mayors and all, they don't even know. They might not even know. The ones in the big cities that are do, but the rural ones have no clue. No clue. And these things will be pushed or asked, and they'll vote, hey, we need you to do this, and we'll give you a little money for it. That's how it's going to come down, and you'll think it's nothing. They'll say, what are you talking about? This is not big deal zoning. I think maybe you'll start, this is a guess. This I didn't read anywhere. This is me. You might hear things about conservancies, um, different zoning titles that you haven't heard before. Um, different funds, maybe. I just keep an eye out. But anything regarding zoning, shoot them to these videos. Have them take a look real quick. Give them a 5-minute overview. Go watch it yourself so you can speak intelligently. I was drinking from a fire hose last night. There was so much. My brain is scattered because of it. You guys need to go check it out. If you own a home, if you own property, whether city or rural, you better pay attention. Better pay attention. You never thought what happened the last couple of years it would have ever happened in your life, right? Think about 3 years ago. Would you think any of this? No. And it happened. I'm telling you, this is the next thing. Go look at it. Check it out. We always wonder, don't you always have this feeling about the next foot's going to drop, right? And all this World War III and all this other crap is merely cover for it. The balloons, the this, the that, it's all cover for it. Keep you away from it. Watch. Make sure. Chinese farmland. Think that might have something to do with it? What's his name? Buying up farmland. Think that might have something to do with it? Just maybe. This is it, guys. I beg you, go do your research. Just watch a few videos. Spend 15 minutes. Here, if you think he's all full of shit, then I'm full of shit. Never come back again. Watch it. I'm telling you, I feel this from the bottom of my heart. And if you waste 15 minutes, you'll waste 15 minutes. But you just might save you, your family, your fortune, your everything by spending 15 minutes looking it up. Okay? I don't ask you guys much. This is insane. Absolutely insane. And the further you dig, the scared, all of a sudden you're flipping pages going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You got to dig a little, read a little, but yep. This is it. What happens from there? I don't know. But it's about restriction of movement, real ID. You all got real IDs, right? That's part of it. Ask Canada about that. What's his name? Navy SEAL Channel just had the Canadian sniper, not Navy SEAL Channel, but what's the guy's name? God damn it. I'm not thinking right tonight, I'm telling you. It's the guy's name, his channel, ex-Navy SEAL, ex-CIA. Go on his channel. He just did an interview with a Canadian sniper that made the record longest shot kill on record. Go watch that interview, see what Canada did to him and how they're stifling the story and everything else. They actually did. They got to this guy on the channel, and he removed a bunch of stuff because of what they asked. Out of respect for safety of these operators, Canadian operators, he did it, but he still feels that that's not the reason. He feels they did it because of, I don't even want to say it because they'll stop this. But go on there and watch that one about the Canadian sniper. And he tells it flat out what happened to him, what's going on with the military there and here. It's unbelievable. And it's all part of it. And these are Navy SEALs. These are legit dudes. They're not telling you stories or conspiracy theories. They're telling you the real deal. Go watch. That's all I can tell you. Those two things, you might just move to a barren corner of Idaho or the coldest, snowiest middle of nowhere you can find in North Dakota, because you'll be so scared that it's all, yeah. Go do those two things. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is bad news and it's the truth. And I don't know how you stop it yet, other than make sure these zoning things don't pass. And it may not be today, it may not be next week, it may not be next month, but it will be building and building, and certainly you'll start hearing it in the next 6 months. My guess is you'll start hearing it right now, slowly. Just remember those terms, put them in the back of your head. And so when you're making dinner and all of a sudden on TV, that word pops up and then your ears go ding, ding. What was that? Oh my God, Rock was right. Not a conspiracy theorist, guys. I don't do that. I researched this. I went everywhere I could think to go to look it up. And none of it's from the right. It's all from the left, telling how they're going to do it. Got to dig a little deeper for the more sinister side of it, but it's all there on the top level, the sugar-coated side. The propaganda, sell it to the young and the people. They're asking for young volunteers and young entrepreneurs and, those that have been woke. Yeah. Check it out. So, sorry to get away from the gun stuff, but hey, it's funny how it coincides with such a push for gun control and how to take away your rights, huh? And what did we always say? Why do they want to take away our guns? Because they're pretty sure we're not going to like too much what they're about to do to us. Matter of fact, they're positive that we're not going to like it so much that we're going to want to use those guns. That's the only reason they need to take them, guys. There's no other reason for them to take away your God-given and constitutionally guaranteed rights. It's the only reason. Is you are not going to like what they're about to do, so they better take them. The countries the experiments are already happening. They've tested these, by the way, in London. London's about to start the test. There's tons of news on that. Go look it up. The other one was a city on the coast of Texas. I don't remember if it was Austin or Houston, maybe. I don't know. But a city in Texas, it's being tested. 400 million guns are already in private hands. That ship has sailed. Yes, I agree. However, there were a shitload of guns in Australia. There were a shitload of guns in the UK. And there were a shitload of guns in Canada. And they all gave them up. Zammo. Guys, the average person in this country, the average gun owner is not you, Rabbit. The average gun owner is not Ross. The average gun owner is not Dan Dude, and it's certainly not Rock. The average gun owner has a few guns because he got them from Uncle Joe when he died, or he bought one to go target shooter. Maybe the last year or two it scared him, so he bought one. But he's still kind of, and the wife doesn't quite like it. So when the government says you got to turn them in, they're going to go, well, yeah, I get all those crazy constitutional guys, but here, Mr. Government, yeah, it's better you take it anyways. It was making me nervous. That's the average gun owner. That's 90% of gun owners, guys. It only takes 1% of the people to overthrow a country or to win a revolution or to quell a revolution or to bring about communism. 1% of the population, that's it. How many people do you think it was when the 13 colonies were around and we formed this great nation. 1% of the people. That's it. There were tons of loyalists. And there were tons of people that were just too busy working and just trying to keep them and their families alive to care about what a bunch of guys wanted to sign on a piece of paper and have the king come over with his merry men and start shooting your ass. They were too busy just staying alive, right? It was 1% of the people that were able to do what they did. That's all you need now. That's all they need to push their side. Think about that. And the average gun owner, even the guys that stand up and go, from my cold, dead hands, that fucking pussy, he's going to hand it over quicker than anybody. Yeah. So, how many did you say, Rabbit? 400 million? Big fucking deal. Half of those have rusted away somewhere, been lost, broken, are junk, sitting in a drawer, can't get ammo for them, whatever. Or they stop ammo, Look, no more Chinese ammo, no more Russian ammo. The cheapest stuff, the stuff you could afford, that's all gone. Prices have shot up. Availability is still okay for now till the next scare. What about the next Black Swan event or the next bullshit event? Some dirty bomb going off somewhere that they want to blame on whatever, and that scare happens. What do you think is going to happen to ammo then? Keep buying, boys and girls. Keep buying mags. Keep buying guns. Actually, I'm going to tell you, forget about the guns. You got enough guns. Buy the other things. Get the magazines. Get the ammo. Get things to carry it with. I don't care if it's cheap Chinese plate carriers or chest rigs, Condor, or whatever other garbage is out there. Buy it. Better than nothing. Something to hold your mags and hold some other gear. Get yourself some radio, some communication. Go buy some Baofangs for $25 a piece. Get a family pack, 5 for $100. Better something than nothing. Get some canteens. Get some stuff to hold water. Put 50 gallons of gasoline in your garage extra. Put away some food, all those things. Forget about the guns. Quit buying the guns. You got enough guns. All you're going to have to do is leave them behind anyways. You can only carry one and a sidearm and one per family member, and you're off. The rest are going to sit there and get taken by somebody or used by someone else, or you'll give to a neighbor. I don't like my neighbors enough to give them to them. I'm kidding. But I'm telling you, you're going to need the other stuff much more. You'll lose mags on the ground when you do a mag change and you can't go back to get it. Or you don't have a dump pouch to put it in. Or you're so scared shitless as bullets are whizzing over you that you're just dropping mags and shooting and running. Yep. I don't know. What do you guys think? Those are all nanny states. They have a very compliant population. You think a whole lot of the U.S. population. Well, I think a lot of the population that I'm relying on, I think a ton of them. The majority are the same, if not worse, nanny state. Look at what they've developed in just the last few years. Look at these college age and under. Not all, because some were raised right, but a lot of them. Watch that video on that Canadian sniper. And when he tells you what he's seeing in the military, you'll understand. The FUDs, you're right. I literally had a neighbor who I knew was a hunter, but I didn't know was quite such a big hunter because I didn't know him all his life. But I've known him quite a while, and I have a high opinion of him and a lot of respect for him. He's a good man, a nice man, family man, he'd do anything for me. Um, but I didn't know he was quite the hunter. I've been on African safari more than a handful of times, probably 8, 10, 12 safaris, hunted in Alaska, Kodiak, Canada, all over the world. Huge hunter. And because of where he lives up north here, I just assumed that he was pro 2A on board with the whole thing. And when the assault weapon ban in Illinois went down, I talked to him and I said, "Hey, good thing I'm not down there anymore, huh?" He says, they should take those things anyways. It was the complete FUD reaction that I never expected. These kids, well, what do you think? I said, really? He says, yeah, these kids shouldn't be running around with that stuff. What do they need it for? They can run down and buy these things and these 30-round clipazines and thousands of rounds of ammo. What do you expect's going to happen from these goddamn kids? What do they need it for? I said, really? And I won't say his name. I almost just did, but I was shocked. And his son was there. And his son started saying, well, yeah, Dad, don't you understand that it's not about hunting? It's about your rights. And the typical, what are you going to do against, these jet planes and tanks and this and that? And I looked at him and I said the same thing the Afghans did against the Russians, or the Vietnamese did to us, or on and on. There's plenty of examples of people holding on to their homeland against much stronger and more advanced militaries. Plenty of examples, because there's a big difference when you're fighting for your homeland and your true beliefs and your family than you are when you step off a plane onto foreign soil that you have has not invaded your country or done something to your country, right? Big difference. But I was not expecting that reaction at all. And you really couldn't talk to him about it either. And this is a very conservative Republican guy. But yet, when it came to the gun thing, nah, he wasn't seeing it. As long as he had his hunting gun and they leave him alone, I'm okay. Well, it'll be fun when they come to take away his hunting gun. I'd like to be standing there that day and say, so, what do you think now there, big shot? I think you put too much faith, Rabbit, in your average citizen here. Well, I think, is there 1%? Yeah, absolutely. Is there 10%? Probably. Will they feel the hurt sort of bad enough before that happens that they'll be mad enough not to give them up so quick? I don't know. I think they're smarter than that, and they'll play the game smarter than that. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you're right. I don't know. Maybe it's I got a few more years on you, and maybe I'm just jaded, or maybe I've talked to a few more people in many different age groups and lived through those age groups. See what's going on. Talk to my kids and people they know and in their age group. And that's why it's so important. I say every week, guys, make sure you spread your hobby, your beliefs, your constitution to somebody new. Hopefully young people, because they need something good to do with their lives, first of all, and maybe they weren't educated in proper ways and belief in the Constitution and brought into the firearm realm. Get somebody hooked on firearms. It's easy. It's so much fun. Take them to the range. They can enjoy a lifelong hobby And that's what we need to back this. It's got to live on. It's got to keep going generationally. And every generation, it's made darker. They work so hard to make evil a gun, and they work so hard to, make guns seem a fringe thing. And it takes one or two generations to push that before it's taboo and nobody wants to touch it. That's the whole point of all these. They know these laws that they're trying to pass are unconstitutional. They don't care. Enough press on the evil black rifle, on and on and on, that eventually, even if they're not involved, they've heard it. And in their brain, they think, well, I've heard it a million times. It must be true. They're evil. We don't need these things. And they're gone that quick. That quick. Listen to these Canadians and these British and these Australians when they comment here on YouTube, on GunTubers channels, about, please, Americans, don't give up like we did. You're the last hope. Because what we're talking about here is already happening to them. So, Tori, heck, look what China did with the balloon. Government is overestimated. I don't know. Who says that was a Chinese balloon? If you ask me, it's a cover story. They don't need a balloon, guys. They got satellites and they got everything else. They got boots on the ground here. Are you kidding me? They don't need a balloon. That was a cover for something. I wouldn't even put the balloon stories out of your mind. They mean nothing. They're nothing. Nothing. Yet another gun store I use is closed. That's 2 shops in the last month. You were just saying, how many guns are there? But 2 stores near you closed. Why is that? I'm sure it wasn't because of a push, right? To get them gone or anything like that. Or lack of business or whatever. You know what I mean. There's small mom and pop shops closing all the time. The ATF, the zero tolerance policy. They make one mistake on a name and they're done. Their license is pulled. That's the latest Biden thing. So that's his mandate to the ATF. So make sure it's happening, guys. And we talk about it, but what are you going to do about it? Get involved with your city council. Watch your county. Watch for these laws coming down. Get some people together and do something about it. Have a meeting. Get 2 neighbors together. Somebody's house, garage. And then bring 2 more and 2 more and 2 more. Run for, go to, here, how about this? Get your ass off the couch and go to a school board meeting and see what's going on. There's still all that going on. I'm talking about one thing I just discovered here, but there's so much more. You live rural, you still have a trap team at your local high school, go coach it. Volunteer. Do something. Anything. Or we won't be talking 5 years from now. You'll be worried about much more dire circumstances. It's legit, boys and girls. It's legit. I'm passing out weapons if the wheels fall off. Spread the mayhem around. Absolutely. That's what they're there for. Anything else? Anyhow, guys, I've probably bored you enough. You're probably thinking I'm Looney Tunes. I'm off my rocker. You think that? Go to the UN, look it up, search C40 when I get off this live stream. Check it out. Do a Google search and start reading. Then watch some videos done about 15-minute cities on here. And then anything you hear there, dig a little deeper. It's going to scare the shit out of you, and it's legit, and it's already started. We're at the very beginning, but I promise you it's further than you think. Anyhow, we got some cool videos coming. We got those rifles to bring to you and show you. and it's going to be a ton of fun. Just waiting for the weather to break up north here. Down south here, I told you. See if I can give you a little view. I don't think there's enough light, but I'll see if I can zip the camera around. Bear with me here for a minute, guys. Well, there's the pool, sort of, kind of, and that's out down the canal. So, yeah, we're spending a little time in Florida and getting some work done, and then heading home and shoveling 2 feet of snow that's coming. I don't know if you Michigan guys are going to get hammered or not. It may go just north. Looks like it's hitting all of us in Wisconsin. So we'll see. UP is going to get nailed. We'll get a little extra snowmobiling in this year. And yeah, snow ain't bad. Yeah, it's better than sweating to death down here. So I can't wait to get home and see Mrs. Rock and the pups and everybody else. So we will be home soon. And as soon as we can get out, temperature doesn't matter, but wind, that kind of thing matters for videos. And we'll get out there and bring you some. We'll do some tabletops on this pre-band stuff. I'm sure you guys will like that. And stay tuned. Look forward to it. And you'll see. I hope you like that Black Arrow thing with Krebs. I don't think we'll get to shoot that rifle. It belongs to the business. It's for sale. And he doesn't want to devalue it by shooting it. But you never know. Mark changes his mind. Maybe he'll keep it. We get to shoot it. A lot of other cool stuff he's got too. And different things. We're going to bring you all those accessories. We're going to bring you the core rifle and do a test on that. There'll be a lot of neat stuff coming. So watch for it, and we will go from there. Until then, check out what I told you. Stay safe. Bring the Second Amendment to somebody. Get somebody involved in the shooting sports. And by all means, support the GOA, Gun Owners of America. Screw the NRA and all their crap. I'm done with it. I know most have been done with it for a while. I was a hanger-on hoping, but yeah, forget it. GOA, go for it, man. They're doing a lot of good. Hey, you guys still in Illinois, keep up the fight. I still feel like it matters to me because I grew up there and all, and I feel like I'm abandoning it, moving and everything. But I want to see that go away. And the pistol brace thing, well, we'll see. They're doing their best there. So stay tuned, stay alert, listen for those words I told you, research it, and we will see you next week. Appreciate all of you coming, and have a good evening. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.